Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay. I think the trees we're going to do today, we're going to go right into our mountain mix color. And we're going to tap it right on our 2-inch brush. On this little bitty brush. And we're going to come up here. And we're going to come across and just tap some color on our canvas. We'll come up and we'll come back down. Pick up some more color if it goes to running out on you. And then we'll come back up again. Just creating little hills. That's basically all we're doing right here. And just run it off the canvas. We just want us a good dark line across here. Now, flip that brush over, come up to it, and just flick it up. Straight up. That's all you got to do. Just flick it straight up. And that will give you the appearance of thousands of little trees way off in the distance. Just by flicking it up. That's all you got to do. And then come back in across the bottom here and fill you in some more color. And it don't take a lot of color because we're fixing to blend this color out. But what we want to do is give it a little body too. We don't want it to look that skinny, like it's not a set of woods back here. But just like that, you can pull up, straight up. And it's very important that you pull straight up, because if you pull over at an angle, it's going to look like the wind's blowing back there and blowing your trees at hundreds of miles an hour and just laying them down. But once you've done that right there, take your brush again and knock that color out. And once you get a good bit of it out, just come back up. Across the bottom. And then you can put a little white on it. And what you're looking for is just a misty look. Just you want it to look real misty. And we'll clean that brush. And we'll take us a... I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and clean that brush. Rather than, we won't keep messing up brushes. We'll go ahead and clean this one right quick. It won't take but a second. I use odorless mineral spirits that I get at my local hardware store. And one of the little cleaner buckets, it's got the little rack in the bottom. And then I've got a trash can set up that it's got a brush beater rack in the bottom of it that I beat the devil out of my brush on. That way I don't have to come up here and beat the devil out of it on my desk and sling paint everywhere. But we'll come across the bottom right here and we'll blend some of this color out that we just put on here, because we want to maintain that misty look. That's our goal right now. We want it to look real misty looking. And once again, we'll come up and we'll pull straight up again. And just like that, we've got two planes that look like just thousands of trees off in the distance. Now, we can take us a 1-inch brush. I've got a 1-inch brush right here that I need to clean right quick anyway. And without changing a whole lot of color, we're not, at this point, we're not really changing colors. We're going to go right into the Mount Mix color again. And we're just going to come up at the bottom across here so we can save some of this mist. And we're just going to come up here and just tap us in a little area up here that just looks like little bushes and little trees, and in here you can get some that's a little taller. And some that's a little wider. You can get some back here that's a little lighter in color to make them look further back. Now we'll give it the look of having layers back here. Like you got some that's in front of others. And just keep that same pattern going all the way across. Just like so. Then you can put you a little more color on your brush. And then come up here at your line and just go across and pull straight down. Just pull straight down. That's all you gotta do. Straight down all the way across. And there again, it's real important that you pull straight down. Right here where you got your taller tree, just make him a little taller. And just pull straight down. That's all you gotta do. And then knock a lot of that color out of your brush. And then very gently, pull across. Very gently. And it gives us instant reflections into our water. Now, we want to do some highlighting. Highlighting is going to be, I'll tell you what, we'll do highlighting today with the filbert brush. We'll give that filbert brush a good workout today. And for that, we're going to I'm gonna put out some highlight colors, some yellow, some sap green, yellow ochre, Indian yellow. Just your basic highlight colors that you generally always use. But now this is more of a summer type setting for me in my mind. So I'm not going to use a lot of fall colors in this highlighting, because I don't want it to take on a fall look. But with that being said, it's still got to have changes, difference in colors. And all you have to do is to keep it from turning to fall on you is adding your little more green or a little blue to your yellows to achieve different types of green. You can have some dark greens and some light greens, and we'll work on it as we go. We'll see how it works. But using the filbert brush to do this, it gives you control as to where you put your color. All right, we'll start out with a little of the yellow, and we'll start out with that's cad yellow, and we'll start out with a little of the green. We'll come right here and we'll just barely touch it. Now if you have problems when you come up here and it's not sticking, you can dip your brush in just a little bit of paint thinner, and it does not take much paint thinner, very little. Then when you come back up, it should stick a lot better for you. And if that's not showing up the way you want it to, reach over and get your little white and mix into it. That white will act as your sunshine. It'll make it pop. But even highlighting with these colors, just don't kill all the dark. And when you come up, just remember that this is a tree you're doing. Don't just come up, just go to highlighting anywhere. Kind of give it a tree shape to make it look like a tree. And as you start going down, it's going to start picking up dark color, and that's good, because the further you go down, the less light you're going to have down at the bottom anyway. So don't even try to fight that. Just let it happen. And leave yourself some darks down at the bottom when you get down at the bottom, because little rabbits had to have somewhere to hide. But then you can see how you can come in now and pick up a little more yellow over here. And you can change the color, like on this little bush. Now it's totally different color. We can come right here and grab some of this ochre. And now it's a totally different color. And as we're doing this, we just want to remember not to kill all the dark. That's the most important thing, is not killing all the dark. You can grab a little Indian yellow here and there if you want to. Got a little green in it. That's a totally different color. And as long as you got different colors, you can still get away with the fact that this is summer. because there's some greens. We can even go into a little bright red if we want to. Pick us up a little bright red, come in here on this side and throw us in a little bush. You can come right in here with a little red. You come in here with a little blue. Just all different colors that you may see in the summer. And you can see what that blue done. It took on a bluish green. So it's not really a screaming blue. We can go back into our yellow again. You can come off the dark spots and come down the bottom a little bit. And you know, it's just let it grow down toward your water. Main thing you want to remember is don't kill all the darks. That's your, I guess, your song for today. Don't kill all the dark. Don't kill all. We'll pick us up a little more white. We'll bring it white over here into the Indian yellow. Let's put us a little color right here. A little more maybe. Right in here. And you can see what that filbert brush does. It just works so well. Just by touching. And that's all I'm doing is just touching. I'm not doing anything fancy with it at all. We'll pick us up a little white and a little yellow ochre. Now this is a real pretty color. When you take that yellow ochre and add just a drop of red to it, and it takes on that peachy looking color, almost a pinkish peach color. To me, that's such a pretty color. When I was a kid, my daddy used to grow peaches, and we had a little small orchard. We wasn't no peach manufacturers, but we had probably 30 trees, and I'm gonna tell you, growing up in the time I grew up, you know, back in the 70s when I was a kid, things are a lot different than they are now. Kids back in the 70s, or I won't say all kids, but I know I was one that had to. You know, when we got in trouble with our parents, especially Mama, well, she'd make you go out there to that tree and break off a switch. And man, you go out there to that peach tree and get a switch. Oh boy, you better know what you're doing, because them peach tree switches hurt. They got big old knots on them. I love you, Mama. God rest your soul. But now, I'll say this. Times were different. And, you know, we grew up in a different time then. And, I don't think we turned out too bad. Matter of fact, I probably got away with a few whoopings that I should have got that I didn't, but there were some things I should have got away with that I didn't do. Let me get back to painting. But just like that, that's all I'm doing. Is just changing up colors. Going from yellow to yellow ochre to Indian yellow to green. Adding a little white here and there. And just taking that filbert brush and just touching, just making little bush shapes, little leaf shapes, here and there. That's all I'm doing. And just trying to remember not to kill all the dark. But now, since this is a painting to where we're not trying to use the knife today, to do our land at the bottom here, we're going to use our filbert brush for that too. And I'll show you how we do that with a filbert brush. Let me find my color here. Alright, we're going to put aside a little burnt umber. It won't take a lot, just a little. And now the colors that we used. Alright, I tell you what, let's put a little light color on that bush in the back there. Just to make him stand out some. We'll put just a little color on it. Just a little. We won't leave him left out, make him feel lonely. Just like that. Alright, and this one too. We'll go ahead and give him a little color. And we may as well do this one too. Alright, we'll knock out the greens and stuff that we were using for that. We'll go right into that burnt umber. Now this is not a hard process right here at all. You just want to come up. You can see your line where you started making your shadows earlier. So just come up, and what I like to do is start somewhere and just give myself a little at a time. I don't want to use and just pull straight down. I don't like doing a real big long line at one time because it gets harder to do. And this way you can keep it more straight. Now, your main thing here is keeping your top straight. If your bottom gets kind of away from you, that's not really a big deal because we got to come back with water lines in a little bit. But what you want to do is you want to create a bank over here. You want it to look like dirt, rocks, and just stay right under your trees where you had that line, and use that line to your advantage. Use it as your guide. And that's all you got to do. Because in here, you got a straight line that's growing up on your trees and stuff, and it kind of looks yunky. You know, it don't look right to me. But we're gonna fix that just in a second. All right, let's clean this brush out a little bit. That filbert brush. Now we're gonna go into some white. And just a touch of that burnt umber color and get us like a tan. And we'll put just a drop of red in it. Just a drop. And that'll give us a kind of a pinkish brown color. Now when you come back up here, real lightly, in just little spots, just pull down. In different areas, just pull it down. Just touch across here. Now if you'd rather do that, that's fine too, because I'm going to show you a trick here in just a second. You can come across and just touch in different spots. And if that's the way you decide to go, just do it all the way down. Especially in your thicker areas. Alright. Now, that fan brush we used earlier, we're going to take that fan brush now, and we're going to come up and just pull out towards the center of the painting. Just barely doing it. Just barely touching the canvas. And when you get to the center point, stop and then start back this way and pull toward the center. Just barely pulling. Just barely touching. Now, to do something with that rough line that we got, let's just take us a neutral color. Sometimes you don't even have to use a color at all, but, well, let's do that. I'll show you that way. Come right up to your line, where your line meets where your dirt meets the bottom of your land, and just take that fan brush and just tap along there. And what that's doing is it's mixing those colors. It's blending them together. And it'll make it look like a continuous bank up here. It'll kill that straight line look. Because one thing you don't want in nature is that straight line look. Just like so. And now our bank looks like it's got sunk in spots and spots that are not. Okay, now let's say, all right, we already said we don't own a knife because we don't like the knife. So what are we going to do to put in water lines? Well, to put in water lines without a knife, we'll take us a script liner brush and we'll put in a little thinner, and then we'll go to our white and we'll thin it down, get it good and thin. And we'll roll that knife, roll the knife, roll the script liner bristles into that paint, and get just a little paint on your script liner, and come up and just barely touch, and come across and draw you in a water line. That's all you gotta do. Then go back, pick you up a little bit more. Come back up. Draw you in a water line. Just like so. That's all you gotta do. Just make sure you keep it straight. No matter which way that bank's going, make sure your water line's straight. Because water don't go uphill like that. Water just follows the contour of the land. So it needs to stay as straight as it can. And if you mess up, all you gotta do is just work it a little and it'll blend right in. That's the beauty of oil paint. Just keep your lines as straight as you can. And if it gets a little brown in it, well, that's not bad, because that's it's just acts as mud or dirt off your bank over here. And if you want, you can come out and put you a couple little glimmers in the water. And then you can clean your script liner brush up. Look, no, let's fix this. I don't like that. Alright, let's get some more white up here for that. I didn't see that. Much better. Much better. Alright. Now, we'll clean the script liner brush up. And that paint's taking shape. I mean, you could quit right there and have a pretty good painting. But we can't do that. We can't do that. Alright, what we're gonna do next is we are going to take our big round brush, and we're going to take that right into our mountain mix color and a little green. And we're going to come over here and we're just going to start putting this in a tree shape. About like so. About like that. That's about all we need. Yeah, about like that. And we'll come under it with a few bushes. About like so. Then we'll pick us up a little more sap green. And on this side, let's see how we want to do this. Alright, on this side, we'll come in with another tree. About like so. And we'll stop him right across here. About like so. Yeah, something about like that. Yeah, that'll work. Alright, now let's take our filbert brush again, since it's getting such a workout today. Let's go back into our white and our burnt umber. Make us a tan color here. We'll come right over here and give this tree a trunk, about like so. Give it a limb. About like so. Just a little thinner. A little more white. We'll come over here to this side. About like so. About all we need. And then we will go into our oval, our 1-inch oval brush. Take just a little thinner on it. Just a very little on that corner. And we'll go into the yellow. And the reason I'm going straight into the yellow first is because there's already some black and green up there, so I feel like it'll pick that color up. But you want to come up and just barely touch. Let that paint pull off. And if it's not pulling off the way you want it to, pick you up a little more thinner. Just like that. That's all you gotta do. Just remember when you're highlighting that your trees are round. So you want to put some of your highlights in front of that trunk to make it look like you got leaves coming, branches coming towards you too. But just touch it random in little tree shapes and not killing all the dark. That's the trick. That's the name of the game. You had to have those shadows. Okay. And then you can change your color up right here. Let's go with ochre. Alright, then we'll put a little green in with the ochre, just to maintain our summer look, but to still get a different color. We'll come in just like this. Just barely touch. Because if you come up and push too hard right now, you're going to smush that color in there and it's going to turn to mud on you. And this is a very light touch. Very light touch. All you're trying to do is get that paint to release. That's all you want it to do. You can go right next door and pick up a low Indian yellow. Same thing with it. You know, it's not gonna appear to be a fall color right now because everything else is so green and colorful. You just come in and give yourself a different color. You can pick up a little white anytime you want to and bring that white over in with it. Get out here on this outside edge and just barely touching. That's all you got to do. And that paint will pull right off. Just barely touching. Just like so. We can hide a little red bush in there. Give him a little color right there. Just want to be careful not to kill all your darks. Out here on the outside edge, if you want to, a little pop of sunshine, pick you up some of the white, go back into your yellow. And just make it look like it's glistening out here in the sun. Just having fun. Living life. Just like so. Now in my eyes, that turned out really pretty. And if you want your outside of your tree to look three-dimensional, that's another thing you can do. Is you can take that white and that yellow, and you can come back up, and just in a couple places, just here and there, just barely touch that outside edge, and little different spots, and just barely touching. And it'll give your tree a look that to me it looks three-dimensional, because it's like the sun's hitting in places and missing in others. The only thing with that is, once you start doing that little highlight, is do not get carried away with it, because you can get carried away with that one quick. But you can come back anywhere you want to that you see a little dull area that you want to just make pop, and just barely touch it, and it'll just bring it to life. And on this side, same thing. We can start out with, I'll tell you what, over there, let's start with the ochre. We'll get us some ochre on our brush. We'll get us a little of that white on our brush. We'll come up here and we'll just start highlighting away. Just maintain your tree shape, and don't kill all your dark. And I know that's got to get, when you watching somebody paint and they keep saying that don't kill all the dark, I know you got to get sick of hearing that. But I think for me, it's more me telling myself than it is me trying to remind you, because I am the world's worst to forget. Because when I go to highlighting sometimes, it'll just go to feeling so good. I'll forget all about the dark. And the next thing you know, I have covered up all my darks. And I'm trying to go back and put them in, and what a mess that is. Now, it can be done. I'm not going to sit there and tell you it can't be done. But I'm not going to sit there and tell you it's fun either, because it's not. It's just so much easier when you know not to do it. I think eventually it gets programmed into your mind, don't kill all the dark, that you're so used to hearing somebody else say it that you start saying it. And there are some painters right now on YouTube that are, oh my goodness, they are magnificent painters. I mean, there's some guys out there that's painting stuff that just will blow your mind. And the reason I wanted to start doing it is, to me, it's just it's something to do. It's more fun to paint with somebody, and I feel like when I'm doing this, almost like I'm painting with you guys, or if that makes any sense at all. When you sitting around at home and you break out a canvas and you go to painting, well, it's fun. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's not fun. But when I'm sitting here and I'm painting and I'm talking to somebody like I'm really giving you instructions on what to do, because I'm not the best there is at all. You know, I love being a Bob Ross instructor, but when it comes to being the best out there, no, I won't even. I won't even try to claim that title, because there's some guys out there that's painting that's doing some remarkable stuff. But I don't think as good as those guys are, I don't think they're having no more fun than I'm having, because I'm having a ball doing this. So if you are watching, I mean, you know, I don't know how many people actually sit through one of these videos this long, you know, and watch to the end. I don't have a clue. But you know, if you've stayed and you've watched this much of it, give me a like and a subscribe. Let me know. You know, comment on it. I've had a couple guys tell me that, you know, a couple comments that my perspective was off on a painting that I did, and I appreciate the constructive criticism. I did not get offended at all, and I mean, if you see something that I did that don't look right to you, well, ask me about it, or you know, tell me, hey, look, you did this, and you should have done that. Because if it helps me, and then later on I can help you again, well, that's just a circle. Alright, over here we'll come in here and we'll start pulling down our shadow or our reflection. And we'll lightly go across. And we'll pick up our filbert brush. We'll get our burn umber. We'll make our line across. Just like so. Then we'll pick up our highlight color. And we'll touch it again like we did earlier. All the way down. Then we will take our fan brush and we'll do it just like we did earlier. We'll come in and lightly pull across. Then we'll come back, smush in that straight line, get rid of it. Then we'll pick up our script liner again. We're going to our white. And we'll make our water line across here. Then we'll come right here and we'll go ahead and put us an H on it since we're right there. And we'll call that done. And this is a painting that can be done without using a knife. And we created, now other than this little goof right here, we created, in my opinion, a very, very pretty painting. I mean, it's simple. It's got the summer feel to it that we set out to do. We got some effective mountains that did not require a knife. None of our water lines required a knife. So if that knife's giving you that much trouble, don't give up. Keep practicing with it. But you know, just know that you don't have to have it to do a painting. All the buildings and houses and cabins that Bob did, you can do them with brushes. You don't necessarily have to use the knife. Bob said it better than anybody, I guess, is, you know, this is your world. And when you paint it, you do it however you feel like you need to do it, and that's the right way. With that being said, I hope y'all like this. Help me out with my channel if you will. You know, like it, subscribe, share me, you know, tell people about me. What else to be said? God bless you, my friends. I'll see y'all again real soon. We'll get together and we'll paint something else. Have a blessed night.